So here's what we've got. Do we go to cash? Do we go to market timing? Do we go to diversification? Do we do this stuff? Cash is good if I know the market's going down, right? But I am not great at market timing. Nobody is. Diversification works, but not all the time. Well, one thing, if you can't predict what's going to happen in the future, Michael, what do? We buy insurance, right? We buy insurance. And that's what IPS Strategic Capital does. Not in the insurance that you think about it, but what if I can invest in the S&P 500, which is, by the way, 500 diversified companies, Kirk. Okay, so I'm highly diversified. Okay, so I'm in basically a global economy. But what if I could put an umbrella? What if I could protect that diversified portfolio? Okay, and there's an end here. What if I could also perfectly time the market? What if I can be in the market when it's going up and be out of the market when it's going down? And not like human beings, just automatically, sort of like a switch. That would be a home run. Wouldn't that be a home run? You know, one of my mentors is Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett basically said that I will use these tools when I feel necessary to manage risk, the tools that I use. So I'm using strategies that are not foreign, and really one of the best investors in the world is using. One of my clients called me and she said, Dom, take me to cash. Warren Buffett's in cash. I said, Warren Buffett is not in cash. Warren Buffett's in treasuries. Well, isn't that cash? Well, no. He's putting maybe 95% of his money in treasuries. He's putting about 5% into these financial instruments. So I'm going to use an analogy I used last time. And thank you, Mallory. She's the one that came up with this. So I'm going to use Mallory's analogy because we were spitballing on how we can get clients to understand what we do. So I'm going to use this analogy. If I've got $1 and I decide to put 95% in cash or a cash equivalent, a T-bill, a box spread, I then will take 5 cents of the dollar and put it in the stock market. Okay, is everybody with me right now? Now, I got a question for everybody in this room. If I lose that 5% or 5 cents, did I lose any money? What do you think? Who says I've lost money? Well, didn't I lose some money? Yeah, okay, sure I did. But guess what? This T-bill pays interest. If it pays the same interest as what I lost, then I didn't lose money. Oh, that's pretty cool. You picking this up, Todd? Does this make sense? We've talked about this. Okay, you talked about it. Now, of course, I'm using Warren Buffett's strategy. Now, this nickel I put in the stock market, okay, are you telling me this nickel is going to give me 75% of the upside? Which right now I can get about 75%. And if the VIX comes down, the volatility comes down, I can get back to 80, 85. It's not that interest rates have hurt me. It's the price of these options have gone up. When markets become volatility, options become more expensive. But that's okay. Here's my question. If I can get 75% of the upside and lose nothing when the market goes down, which means if the market's down 20, I don't lose anything. But if the market's up 20, I make 15. Wait a minute. That doesn't make any sense. You're telling me I don't lose anything if the market goes down, but I make if the market goes up? And not only that, here's my biggest question. How could you have 5% in the market and give you 75% exposure? Don't you need to have 75 cents of your dollar? How the heck could you how could you get so much upside with only such a small amount in the market? Well, the best way I can explain it, and I apologize, but the best analogy I can find is I pay about $833 a month for my home insurance. But if my home burns down, Todd, they're going to write me a check for $2 million. I hope. You know, what happened in California. So what I'm really using is a leverage tool that I could put a little bit of money to give me a good upside exposure, but really protect my downside. So I've shown this chart before. What I really want to bring up here is that the annuities of old are not the annuities today. Annuities are the most sold product to seniors, and they pay the highest commission. But you could see annuities are, so just say no. Don't buy those things. And I'm not a big fan of private equity. Okay, so anyway, the biggest benefit of the way I manage a big chunk of your money, because I run different strategies, is that when you don't make money is really the best thing about this strategy. Let me explain, because a person's going to say, well, wait a minute, I would have been better off putting my money in a fixed rate CD or money market, because I would have made interest, where here, if the market goes down, I wouldn't make any money at all. Well, let me see if I can explain it. Number one, Albert Einstein said, and I've said this before, Albert Einstein said the greatest invention of mankind is compound interest, because money grows exponentially. You get interest on interest like a snowball running downhill. The worst invention of mankind is negative compound interest. Money loses exponentially. So if I have $100 and I lose 50, half of it, I got to make 100% to get back to break even. And if you look at, going back, if I'm in a situation, see how you got to make a lot more money on the upside as you lose on the downside. If I lose 60% of my money, I have to make 150% to get back. And losses is really the big thing that will kill you in retirement. You got to get rid of those losses. Here's why I love this concept. Because let's assume in year one, the market goes up 10%, and let's assume I'm getting 75% of the upside. I'd make 7.5 of that 10. But let's assume the market goes down in year two. I don't lose any money. I hold my value, especially if I have a 1-year note and it matures, I lock in. So on and so forth. You can see that because I don't lose when the market goes down, I'm in the market when it's rising, and I'm out of the market when it's falling. It's the perfect, Susan, it's the first perfect market timing tool. I'm in cash, essentially, because I'm not losing. And so think about market timing and how all the greats can't do it, and this does it automatically. It really is a beautiful thing.